Let's set up each of the node baskets. I also call this the Bitcoin Core download. It's all the stuff that comes in the download when you install the Bitcoin node software onto a new computer. The estimated time for setting up is to put together node materials, 20 minutes. To assemble materials for each node, 10 minutes. If it's your first time playing, you'll need more time to do initial setup. A lot of the parts can be reused thereafter. Also, you can consult the Bill of Materials, or BOM, to check the items anytime. You'll probably want to recreate the Genesis and First Network transactions every game. This is the most time-consuming part of the game setup, so make sure that you've accounted for this on game day or do it ahead of time. Let's get into it. We will start with the mempool and UTXO baskets. These are for transactions that your node has received either from the network or inside a block. They need to be labeled before playing. You should have the following: 12 plastic baskets, 6 mempool stickers, and 6 UTXO set stickers. Place one sticker in the middle bottom of each basket. All the baskets should be labeled before the game starts. Every block will be constructed with a block template and a block header. You'll need to put the block templates together. You should have 60 plastic card holders and 60 A1 envelopes. So for the creation of the materials that the nodes will use as blocks, you will need to remove the plastic card holder from the paper backing, place the plastic card holder onto the front of an envelope, opening pointing up towards the top of the envelope. We will repeat the process until we finish with all 60 block envelopes. You'll only need to do this once. The Genesis transaction is the coin-based transaction of the Genesis block. It's the first ever Bitcoin transaction, and it's the only transaction in the first block in the chain. As a coin-based transaction, it was made by the person who mined the block. In Bitcoin's case, this was Satoshi Nakamoto. For the LARP, it's you, the facilitator. As it's likely that the Genesis transaction will get written on during gameplay, it's likely that you'll need to remake these every time you run a LARP. Let's write our first Genesis transaction. The number of copies of the Genesis transaction will be equal to the number of nodes or groups that are playing. Your LARP kit has enough materials for 6 nodes or groups to play at a time, so at most you'll need to make 6 copies. We'll start with a blank transaction card. The transaction ID for the Genesis transaction is Eagle33. We'll write this in. Since it's a coin-based transaction, there are no inputs to this transaction. We'll show this by putting a big X over the inputs. Finally, we'll fill in the output section. The Genesis transaction has 4 outputs. Index 0 has an amount of 25, and we'll place a green lock sticker. Index at 1 will put an amount of 8, and we'll place a blue lock sticker. For the number 2 index, we'll put an amount of 8 and place a pink lock sticker. And for the 4th and final at index 3, we'll put an amount of 8 and place a yellow lock sticker. It's important to notice that here we are introducing our first mistake. This transaction only locks up 49 Bitcoins in the outputs, not 50. We'll come back to this later. Bitcoin Core, when you download it, comes with one block already inside its blockchain. It's called the Genesis block, and it's the block all other blocks in the chain will be built off of. Satoshi Nakamoto mined it and then hard-coded it inside Bitcoin Core. You get a copy of it when you download Bitcoin Core. In the game, the blocks are represented as an envelope that will always contain transactions. You will need the following materials to build Genesis blocks for each of the 6 nodes: 6 Genesis transactions, 6 block templates, 6 block header cards. You will need to create the Genesis block for every node following the next steps. Place the Genesis transaction inside the block template envelope. On the block header card, write the following: previous block hash of all zeros, a transaction commitment of 33, the time is 12:34, the target is 8500, and the nonce is 103554. Place the filled-in block header card inside the plastic card holder on the front of the block template. At some point, after the initial Bitcoin Core download has been inspected and verified, you, as the facilitator, will pass out a first network transaction to each node. We need to have these pre-made before the game starts. Here's how I make the first network transaction. Feel free to use any different amounts, but if you make any changes, please confirm that the transaction is still valid. For our example, we'll leave off the signature and ask nodes to help us correct this mistake during gameplay. So now, for filling in the first network transaction of the nodes, we will need 6 blank transaction cards. For each node, do the following. Take a blank transaction card, write cat72 as the transaction ID, fill in the input with the following, a transaction ID of =33 with an index of 0, we'll leave the signature blank. For the outputs, we'll fill in the following. At index 0, we'll place an amount of 8 with a green lock sticker. At index 1, we'll place an amount of 8 and a purple lock sticker. And at index 2, we'll place an amount of 8 and we'll place a red lock sticker. In the game, the blockchain is represented as a file folder full of blocks. It will get filled with all the blocks created in the way we saw before. To create the blockchain of each node, we will need 6 Genesis blocks and 6 3x5 index case cards. To prepare the blockchain, place the Genesis block inside of the blockchain and leave it in the basket of each node. The secret key cards are the signatures we will use to sign the transactions. Each node will have one. If you didn't get the pre-printed ones, you can make secret key cards by taking a transaction card or another card and placing a key sticker on the back of it. If you didn't get pre-printed cards, here's how you can make them. To create the secret key cards, follow the next steps. Take 6 transaction cards, turn them over to the blank back side, place one key sticker on each card. You should end up with the following: 1 blue secret key card, 1 green secret key card, 1 yellow secret key card, 1 pink secret key card, 1 purple secret key card, and 1 red secret key card. Place it into the pocket at the front of the blockchain folder. This is the node's wallet, and we'll pack it inside the Bitcoin Core basket. You should have everything you need to put the Bitcoin Core download baskets for each node together. Here's what a completed basket looks like. Now we have all the Bitcoin Core downloads and baskets and ready for the game, and you should be more familiar with all the materials. If you have any doubts about the meaning of any part, we invite you to check the glossary for the facilitators in order to be able to communicate and solve questions that players may have.